Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following week. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me is Andrew Meadows.
Hello, Colton Brown. I am not alone in joining you this weekend this episode.
Well, who do we have with us, Commander Meadows?
We have no other than Henrique Jaime, MD.
Hey guys, is this a Marvel episode that we're talking about?
I think you mean Jedi Master Henrique Jaime.
Jedi
I believe that's
Master.
the one you refer to.
That's it.
How you guys doing?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready to talk about some Star Wars for this time.
Yeah. He's our resident Marvel expert, but we're calling an audible and bringing him in for some Star Wars because we have lots of exciting Star Wars to talk about via Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Final season premiered on Disney Plus, I guess a couple months ago now, roughly. Has recently concluded. I think we're a little bit behind the curve. I'll take the blame on that one. But I finally watched the damn thing, all right? I finally did it. I did a thing. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. And it'll be fun. Be another episode in a row where we have a guest to join us. So I'm looking forward to talking some Star Wars with you guys. Any fun facts on the Clone Wars front from either of you?
So I'll start with my fun fact. As everyone can see my Star Wars pops scattered out across my couch.
Well, I don't know about everyone, but certainly Henry and I can see it.
Yes, it's a total disaster. The man cave is. However, my fun fact for this episode is the fact that the Clone Wars has been out for a very long time. Does anybody else have the very first episode when it was released?
I don't know the specific
like 12
date,
years?
but yeah, I was going to say 2008 is the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
I think that was the year that it premiered. The 3D version, although there is obviously a version that precedes that as well.
So we've been out since 2008, and Colton is just now finishing this shit up. I've been talking about it for a couple of years at very least.
Okay, did you watch it from 2008? Did you watch it as it aired on Cartoon Network?
No, I did not. But I have been finished for
years.
For years.
For literally years.
Telling you to watch, telling you my opinion of it at the very least for quite some time, and that you should watch it.
Well,
so he's finally done it, guys.
Suffice it to say, you are not wrong. Your advice was well founded. I will admit to that. It took me far too long. It's definitely true. But having a final season coming out on Disney Plus was kind of the perfect inspiration for
pushing you
watching it. Which I should say finishing it, because I did start it when it was on Netflix for a while, and I didn't quite make it to the end. So I kind of had to find where I was, go back, finish it up, and then kind of roll right into the new season. So, alas, I made it. 2008, 12 years in the making, I guess, something like that. So that's pretty cool. Any other fun facts that are Clone Wars related, Star Wars related, whatever?
All right, I won't take credit for this one because if anyone's seen the gallery, the Mandalorian Disney Plus, like behind the scenes docuseries, Dave Filoni talks about it, but he was talking about how the first time how he got involved into this whole project from the beginning and meeting George Lucas. And if we were actually talking about this off the air, but Avatar: The Last Airbender, fantastic show. Dave Filoni worked on it, and when he was working on it, he got a call from George Lucas's people, and he was like, "Okay, this is not real." Like, he thought it was a joke. Like, he didn't even entertain it. And then it took him a little later to realize that George Lucas actually did want to get in touch with him and work on this series that he had been thinking about. And I don't know. Thank God he didn't completely dismiss him and go with the joke, because maybe he wouldn't have gone through, and George Lucas would have found somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Filoni is the fucking dude. Like,
he is the dude.
We could say that pretty much at the top. Like,
cowboy hat and all. He is
cowboy hat and all. Yeah, he's incomplete without it. But yeah, you guys can vouch for Rebels in a way that I unfortunately cannot. But it's clear that the dude lives and breathes Star Wars from the work that I've seen him be involved in, and just, listening to the man talk. Andrew and I went to Star Wars Celebration a few years back, went to the Rebels panel. I watched an episode of a show that, like 3 or 4 seasons in, that I'd never seen before, but it was still really entertaining. but just hearing Dave Filoni talk, and it's probably true I would imagine in the Mandalorian series, docu-series, basically, that like this dude knows his shit. And so it shows in this Clone Wars series, certainly. So talk about the Clone Wars in a little bit more depth. We shall do a little bit later. For now, we have some news to get through, although we do have some Star Wars, Clone Wars adjacent news to talk about shortly. Before we get there, the only thing in terms of COVID-19 induced delays, or I guess in this case, acquisitions, is a movie called Greyhound. Tom Hanks led World War II naval drama, I think written by Tom Hanks, starring Tom Hanks, who was one of the first celebrities that we knew tested positive for the coronavirus.
Oh, yeah, way back when.
Yeah, way back when.
Seems like forever ago.
That was, it was probably literally 2 months, but it feels like years. He has this Greyhound movie that's coming out. It was supposed to be headed to theaters, I think in June, something like that. But obviously theaters being where they are, aka not open still, not happening. And Apple has thrown down some big bucks. It is going to be an exclusive premiere for Apple TV Plus. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what the hell Apple TV Plus is. I assume that's their streaming service. I don't know actually what it's called or if it's something distinct from that. I'm admittedly just ignorant on this particular front, but seems like a decent get. I mean, I don't know that this is going to... I don't know this was ever going to like blow the box office doors or anything like that, but Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks historical drama, you kind of know what you're in for. It's probably something solid. So I don't know. Any thoughts on this?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I like. Yeah, I don't know the details on this Apple TV Plus thing. I know they have the morning show. Is that their like new exclusive show they're gonna have? Like, but it hasn't. They don't have enough right now to.
They got the one
really
where
pique my
everybody's
interest.
blind. Jason Momoa's blind. You know about that?
I don't remember that one.
I don't know.
So everybody in the world is blind. Momoa's blind. Everybody's blind. But then there's these two kids that can see.
Oh, okay, yep. The show is literally called C. I was just doing some Wikipedia research and I found it. So yes, Andrew is not just making shit up on the fly, folks.
But it sounds like it could have been. Like you would have totally believed it, which is the point. That's why I haven't watched the show.
Okay, I did just. I guess I probably could have done my due diligence before recording, but yeah, this is literally just Apple's streaming service, which I have heard about. I think they've offered some free stuff at least a month or so ago. I'm not sure if that's still true of kind of some of the original programming that they're doing for like television. Basically, hey, you're stuck at home. Here's a way to entertain yourself, maybe. So yeah, there's a couple on there that I have heard about. Morning show. I think Henry mentioned that's one that's on there. For All Mankind, I remember seeing something about. And then, yeah, there's a couple that I think are supposed to be pretty good, I think. So, I don't know. Maybe there's something here. But I feel like it's been more TV shows as opposed to films. But maybe this is kind of their way to get into that Netflix frame of mind of, hey, let's drop down some bids on some movies that, especially like now when, again, things aren't coming out in theaters and see if they can kind of break through and gain a new audience that way. I don't think this is going to sell me personally.
No.
But
not
alas.
to derail us, but wasn't there rumors that Apple wanted to buy Netflix at some point? Or
That's
I
where
remember
it would
seeing
be at.
talks of that. I don't know if it was like legitimate. Like I think it was like a speculative piece of being like, well, they have the assets, the capital to do it. Like they could do it, but I don't know. I mean, Netflix has got to be worth. I know
chunk,
Apple has lots of
especially
money
now.
but like still,
They're
that
doing
has to
good.
be a sizable acquisition, and I'd have to wonder if that would get voted down too, just because of the massive size of both
Monopolies.
companies. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, I said something about Star Wars news, right? You guys want to talk some Star Wars news?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want some double Star Wars
Double
casting
Star
news?
Wars casting news? Double Star Wars?
Yeah, a little
Wow.
bit of a package deal here, both pertaining to the second season of The Mandalorian. First thing I'm most excited about, admittedly, is that Timothy Olyphant is joining the second season of The Mandalorian.
Wow.
You and the judge from the Good Place, probably.
The judge from The Good Place would certainly appreciate this casting. Yes, so Mr. Olyphant, I appreciate it because Justified is one of my favorite shows of all time. I maintain it's the best dialogue on television. Folks, check it out. I think it's streaming on Amazon, but don't hold me to that. He is joining the show, and he's a great actor. The initial report basically was like, we don't know like what he's going to be doing, but for me, I'm just like, fuck it. He's in. I'm good. Whatever. However, some news has come out from Slash Film, who is reporting that headline, Timothy Olyphant will wear Boba Fett's iconic armor in The Mandalorian Season 2.
Whoa, what?
And so this is actually tying into something that I talked about that Anna prompted me to talk about on our last episode. It's been a couple weeks, but yeah, on our Westworld episode, we talked about Tamara Morrison coming back to play Boba Fett, presumably proper Boba Fett, and I had talked about how I'd been reading the Aftermath trilogy, which take place post Return of the Jedi, and there's a chapter in that where there's a character named Cobb Vanth who is basically wearing what seems to be Boba Fett's Sarlacc scarred armor, and so Slash Film is saying that not only will he be wearing the armor of Boba Fett, but he will actually. He's going to be playing Cobb Vanth. So it's really kind of really cool. Like, it's just a cool thing. Like, I have to think, we talked about how, like, Ahsoka is going to be coming into The Mandalorian. And like, that's one of probably the first instances of, like a TV character animated going to live action, I guess is my point.
It's fucking cool,
which is cool. But this is like novel character going to live action.
It's all
which,
getting
like,
tied
feels
together.
even more unprecedented. So I don't know.
Cool.
Star Wars, Lucasfilm has like a story group that's like kind of deals with this, tries to keep everything pretty tight knit. The Rise of Skywalker, I'm not sure how they let that one slip, but enough said, I suppose. But either way, it's still cool to see like the core of like Star Wars. Just like it's nice to see how connected everything is.
Yeah, I don't know. When I first heard Boba Fett coming back, I wasn't too psyched because it just seems like everyone who died didn't really die. But then again, they brought Maul back, and that was one of the best decisions, probably talk about later, that I thought that the Clone Wars could have done. So, I'll hold the rest of my thoughts until I see Boba Fett or whatever exactly happens in The Mandalorian Season 2.
Yeah, and I've also been reminded that, if Tamara Morrison's not even playing a Boba Fett, if Boba Fett died to Sarlacc, but his armor still made it out, could be a clone, could be a certain captain/commander that we know from a certain series that we might be talking about.
Well, we know what he looks like, though. Unless that actor's dead. The actor in the indoor scene was confirmed as Rex.
I think Filoni has said that it's not.
Do what now?
I think Filoni has said that actor, or that character that we see on Endor is not Rex. But he has said separately that Rex was on Endor, so I don't know. It's all a bit of a. I mean, that's been a long kind of touted fan theory.
And we'll talk about the importance of Rex and the we'll talk about the Clone Wars here in a little bit.
Yeah,
awesome
we
shit
sure
for Rex, man. Rex is a cool character.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So yes, and the other part of the casting news that we got. Which is, I think, equally as cool, and again, is another character jumping from animation, from, I think, multiple animated shows to live action, is Katee Sackhoff is going to be taking her voicing of Bo-Katan from the Clone Wars and Rebels to the live action version of the character in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. So, appropriately, a character that is Mandalorian to show up in The Mandalorian is pretty cool, but... From what I understand, I know little of Rebels, but what little I do know is she is tied into the Darksaber storyline in some capacity, in which we saw the Darksaber in the hands of one Giancarlo Esposito by the end of that. So, I don't know, just really cool. It's clear that like Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, maybe Cobb Vanth, just Mandalorian Season 2 is just fucking going for it. She's
one of the main characters in Battlestar Galactica, right?
She was one of the main starring cast members in that. The only thing I've seen her in most recently was The Flash, one of Andrew's favorite shows. and she's horrendous in that, but she's putting on this very, very bad British accent. Well, we'll talk about some CW stuff pretty soon. So hold your horses. I know you're rearing to go, but come on now.
Was Bo-Katan is Obi-Wan's love interest sister, right?
Correct. That is correct. And she shows up in this final season of the Clone Wars. And it's not really a spoiler to say, but yeah, she teams up with a certain character in that final arc.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any other thoughts? Tim Olyphant, Katee Sackhoff, Clone Wars, Mandalorian, etc.
No.
Sounds like good casting.
Yeah, sounds really cool. I'm very much looking forward to it. Still expected to debut later this year. I saw somewhere. I don't know where, but I'm talking out of my ass. But I saw it, I promise. All right, moving on. CBS All Access, a.k.a. Star Trek All Access, is giving us yet another Star Trek series. I don't think any of us are huge Trekkies, so I know that this probably is going to fall somewhat on deaf ears for both of you, but Star Trek Strange New Worlds is yet another series that's going to join the fray. This one is basically almost like a Star Trek original series prequel of sorts, like direct prequel. It's going to be Captain Pike, who was the original captain of the Enterprise before Kirk relieves him, Rebecca Romaine as number 1, and Ethan Peck as Science Officer Spock. Aboard the USS Enterprise, and it's the decade before Captain Kirk comes along. I think these are all characters that had been introduced in Star Trek Discovery, and I forget exactly what happened. I remember reading about it, but there was some way that particular season ended where it seemed like they were building towards some sort of spinoff type thing, and clearly it's come to fruition now. Well, Picard is aired, I think, right now. I'm not well versed in the Star Trek. I've always wanted to do it, but it's overwhelming and there's a lot, and I don't have that time. I mean, I can barely keep up with Star Trek, Star Wars, the Clone Wars, which is a 12-year-old series, so of 20-minute episodes at that. So perhaps adding more Star Trek on top of the Star Wars that's already on my plate would have been a little too much, but kind of neat. For the Star Trek fans, it seems like the movie verse is kind of maybe a dead end at this point. I don't know what the latest is on that front. We're supposed to get the
Quentin Tarantino Star Trek film.
The Tarantino Star Trek film, whatever the fuck's going on with that. There was also supposed to be another one with Kirk versus time traveling Chris Hemsworth. So I don't know. So I think maybe Simon Pegg or someone basically was just like, Star Trek belongs on TV, and clearly CBS agrees because I swear to God, like, what the hell else is on this streaming platform? I swear it's nothing but Star Trek series. I think there's an animated one.
Isn't the Jordan Peele series on there?
Oh yeah, Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, yeah, they were.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I like Next Gen a lot. I haven't seen too much of the original, or like Deep Space Nine or any of the new stuff. I was talking to Kevin actually the other day, and he watched Picard, and he said he liked it quite a bit actually. So I don't know. At some point, I'd like to check out the newer Star Trek series.
That's what it is. Is we stopped living with Kevin, and the Star Trek has just fallen out of our lives.
Basically, yeah.
I used to just kind of absorb the Next Generation because it'd just be on the TV, and you'd walk through the living room, and
that's some good stuff.
Get a little bit of it in your life.
Next Gen,
yeah. Shaka when the walls fell.
Oh, good stuff.
Indeed. All right, Andrew, your moment to shine is here. CW news.
Ooh. What do we got? I saw some.
We got some
Rose
hot goss.
Some hot goss.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Ruby Rose has left Batwoman.
No
permanently.
Way.
Yeah, she is.
Why?
She's out.
Yeah.
So, per Variety, according to multiple sources, Rose was unhappy with the long hours required of her as the series lead, which led to friction on the set. Separately, there's been speculation that she got injured on set when she was filming. Had to go emergency surgery for 2 herniated discs, which I'm sure is very painful.
Broke her back. Fuck.
Yeah, that's some Batman shit.
But reportedly, the decision had nothing to do with the health issues or the injury, anything like that. It was more to do with just the rigors of, being a lead that films in Vancouver away from home for basically 75% of the year, which I think is legit, But yeah, certainly pretty shocking type, development for CW. And I think really just in general, when this came out, I was trying to rack my brain for examples of like, when the hell has a TV show lost its main character? And, it's one thing to have, supporting characters get recast, but to lose your lead role is pretty momentous, I feel like. And the only thing I could think of was Spartacus.
Yeah,
I was
under thinking the same
wildly different circumstances to the point where, they tried to give Andy time to recover while they literally made a prequel series without his involvement. Unfortunately, that he just obviously wasn't able to continue with his health. Rest in peace. So this is a very different circumstance. They're going to recast the role. They're still moving forward with the second season. It's already been renewed for a second season. They're committed to casting another member of the LGBTQ community, which I think is a smart move. I think they'd obviously get a lot of criticism if they didn't go in that way. So we'll see what happens with the Batwoman, but I know Andrew's devastated. I know he's a big fan of Batwoman. I know he's watched every episode multiple times.
I am a big fan of
but he does like Ruby Rose.
I
So
do like Ruby Rose. Yeah.
So yeah, perhaps all sarcasm aside,
I can't say I've ever
is
seen her as the Batwoman role, but
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like her breaking her back's got to be a pretty big.
It feels like something that might
like
stick in your brain up, being like, you know what, I don't want to do this again.
I don't like this
I
job.
think she might be done because she broke her fucking back. But I don't know.
I mean, I think she did recover, enough that she was able to go back and film more. But and I think they redesigned part of the suit basically to kind of
help her back.
Basically,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I think it was so that it was more comfortable to wear because of the injury. So like, I don't know, but regardless, it's obviously kind of a surprising thing. I will say, Andrew, because you give me shit. I have watched a few episodes recently of my Arrowverse rewatch, and let me tell you something, buddy.
Is it good?
Let me tell you something. I watched an episode of Legends of Tomorrow where they introduce none other than John Constantine into the fold. And It was actually like a really good translation of the vibe of the Constantine NBC show. Like they did a really good job of
Was that the
recapturing
episode where he went to the island? The Arrow Island?
No. Yeah, he's been in Arrow a couple times prior to this, but this was like a Legends episode where because I think he joins the team at some point. I can't remember if he joined the team specifically by the end of the episode, but he's like a main starring cast member now.
Oh,
but this is his first time popping up on Legends, and it's Matt Ryan who came back.
And I thought he was great.
Player,
I thought he was great as.
Oh, he's so good in that role. He's great. But he's bringing that same energy. And he's fun bouncing off the Legends. Sarah, particularly, is good. It's good stuff. So I enjoyed that. Anyway, I just thought I'd have a side note there that I have been watching a few things. I did watch another episode of Arrow too. So not as good, but it's Arrow. What do you expect? Anyone want to talk some trailers?
Yeah, let's talk about some trailers.
A couple Netflix trailers. I would say of two very different sorts. But the first one is the latest Spike Lee joint, To Five Bloods, coming to Netflix sometime. I'm not sure if we got a date on this actually.
June 12th or June something.
Yes. Okay. I was trying to. Ooh, there it is. I lost it. Had it. Oh, come on. June 12th. There it is. June 12th coming to Netflix. Story of 4 African American vets who returned to Vietnam. Very stylish trailer. First of all, what did you guys think of it?
Yeah, man, it's cool. I like Spike Lee. I feel like he's one of those filmmakers that when he's putting out a movie, you're like, all right, let's pay attention. Like he's in the realm of like the Tarantinos, the like Scorsese. Like it's probably gonna get nominated for something and it's gonna draw some buzz. Like let's check it out. And the trailer, I feel like it didn't show too much, which was cool. And it was, like you said, very stylized, like retro in the 60s vibe.
Andrew, how did you feel about it?
It's got the Black Panther in it.
It does have the Black Panther in it. Well, I don't know.
Not you,
it doesn't
but...
have you in it, so...
Yeah, it's true. I'm not in it playing Chaz Boseman. I am not playing one of those African-American men. But...
All right, but is that enough to sell you? Is that Chadwick Boseman's and I'm in?
Chadwick, what I call him, Chaz?
Chaz. Yeah. I was just gonna roll with it. I wasn't gonna question you.
You know, it's one of the names. You know. Anyways,
He's hanging out with the likes of Emma Thompson. You know.
That's it. We're all in this. You know, we're all in this together. We're. Jazz Bozeman.
Jazz, Johnny V, Takiti,
Chaz.
they're all Emma. They're you get it.
They all know me. Shit. Anyways,
so Defy Blood.
I think it looks fine. I'll wait to give an opinion after I see it. It looks very Spike. You know, Spike's very on the nose with what he does. I can't say that I haven't seen any other Spike movies. The last one I saw was The Klansman, and Klansman was awesome. That was a very, very good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I thought it was well made, and it came from a very good angle. Like I said, I haven't seen other Spike movies, but from what I gather, Spike is very on the nose with what he tries to throw in his movies. And this seems like in the same vein of the Black Klansman. But we'll see if he can, if it translates and if it works. But it does look good. You know, like I said, I like Chaz Bozeman as he's been known.
As he's sometimes known. Yeah, of course, absolutely. All right, yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to add. Looking forward to it. Glad it's not a long wait. Yeah, it looks interesting. I'm curious to see what Spike Lee brings to the table with this one. I didn't know anything about it before the trailer came out. Obviously, Spike Lee makes sense that he'd be making another movie, but I literally just had no idea. So I'm really curious to see how it turns out.
He's got to be a pretty old fella. How old is Spike Lee? He's got to be pretty old.
I would say
60s?
60s to 70s, probably 60s if I had to guess. Let's find out. 63.
63? Okay.
So.
Yeah, he's got a lot more movie making ahead of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a big get for Netflix. Like Netflix is getting a
Well,
lot.
that's what I mean. Like, yeah, it's just like
big filmmakers.
I didn't know he was making a movie first of all, but then it's a Netflix exclusive, which Andrew has talked about it before. Of just like this is the perfect time for Netflix to have all of the content amassed so they can.
So it's almost like you're saying
entertain
Netflix planned this.
Netflix Gate. Netflix Gate. Good Lord.
Submit that over to Trumper.
Trumper.
Netflix
Gate. I mean, okay. Well, here's something that might further the conspiracy. They've got a Spike Lee joint lined up for June, but then they have the Old Guard lined up for July. They've got all their months covered, is what I'm saying. Like they know.
They know when that shit's gonna. Yeah,
they know.
Yeah.
So yes, official trailer, the Old Guard, Charlize Theron kicking some ass. Look from the looks of it. How do we feel about this one?
Are they vampires? And not vampires? They're just immortal people. Like what's the?
I'm not sure what the explanation is. Like.
Yeah. I was confused. Like I was piqued by it because I was like, Greg Rucka did the screenplay, and apparently he did the graphic novel too. And it's a very recent, like 2017 graphic novel by the same name. So I don't know. I might read it and see how I feel about it. And it's on Netflix, so no reason not to watch it. So
yeah, I don't know. I didn't think this looked very good.
I kind of get what's the one where they shoot the bullets in the fucking.
Wanted.
Angelina Jolie one.
Yeah, Wanted, where they shoot the bullets in the
the curving bolts.
Shit. Yeah. I kind of get that kind of vibe from it.
Yeah.
But like that was like 15 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like it feels like something that would have come out 15 years ago. Like it definitely.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of get those. I don't know. Kind of get those feels.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like Charlize Theron. I think she's cool.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. Absolutely. Chiwetel's on this. He's great.
Oh, yeah.
It's also got Jafar from Aladdin, who was excellent in that film, as we all know.
Who was shit. Anyways,
I see the thumbs down from Anna.
and as Anna pointed out to me, a Dudley Dursley appearance. Not literally Dudley Dursley, but Harry Melling, the actor that played Dudley in the Harry Potter films, who was also in The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, something Andrew and I enjoyed very much. And Henry, I'm not sure if you ended up seeing.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'll check it out.
Another one on Netflix.
Fuck,
the conspiracy continues. Yeah, that's a good one. Check out Ballad Buster Scruggs, anyone, and then listen to our episode. Self plug, respect.
Didn't Netflix get the David Fincher movie too?
They got David Fincher.
Yes.
Was that a different streaming service?
No, I think it's Netflix because I think he's got a good thing going with him with Mindhunter and Love, Death, Robots.
What's it called again? It has a weird name. I keep forgetting it.
Mank. It's called Mank.
Yeah.
Mink.
Yeah. Mank. M-A-N-K.
Mank.
Will star Gary Oldman.
Holy shit! I'm on it. Let me look.
Citizen Kane screenwriter Herman Mankiewicz. So
Herman fucking Mankiewicz? No way.
Netflix conspiracy.
I'm
first
all over
directorial
fucking
project for
Mankiewicz.
Fincher since Gone Girl. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be on Netflix. It's a Netflix film, so yeah.
I feel
very
like
interested in
Herman
that.
Mankiewicz is one of those people. You see Herman Mankiewicz on something, you just fucking keep your ear to the ground. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I know what you mean. All right, come on, guys. We got two last pieces of news,
right.
and they are fucking bombshells, dudes.
Oh god.
First one.
Mank.
Andrew's still on it. trying to hype you guys up. Come on. WB is going to hashtag release the Snyder Cut on HBO Max.
No, I saw this and I was like, I am all for it because they'll let people actually watch it and be like, all right, this wasn't that much better, which I assume. But also, like, with all the stupid hype behind it, I'm really curious to watch it. I'm gonna.
I mean, first of all, I have many thoughts on this, but the first of them is that this is Batman v Superman all over again. It's the Ultimate Edition all over again. I've been like, it's gonna be, it's gonna redeem the film. Like, WB hacked it to bits for the theatrical release. Like, this is gonna magically fix the film. Like, no, not only was this film still horrendous, it's even longer now, and that's what this is gonna be. It's like, I don't know.
I did sign up for HBO Max, so I'm.
Well, I have HBO
was before
now,
this,
so it's kind of a no-brainer for me to just basically jump into HBO Max at this point.
Yeah, to cancel your subscription and then you have to renew your subscription.
I'll figure it out. But one of the things that, like, I saw this and I was just like, oh, like, that is a really, really great, like, launch date selling point of being like, fuck, like, you can get HBO Max day one and you can watch Justice League the Snyder Cut. And then I realized this shit is not coming out till next year.
Oh.
And I'm like, why did they announce that now?
Why are they waiting? Like, what are they possibly doing right now that they can't release it?
Well, okay, so the thing is, people have been clamoring for the Snyder Cut for months now of being like, it's finished, it's already, WB just has it in their vault ready to go. But the thing is, it's totally not true. Like, the Snyder Cut doesn't exist.
Right.
God damn it.
And so
why would it exist? Why would it exist in the first place?
And so, like, what we're learning now is, like, not only does the Snyder Cut not exist, but they have to spend money to make the Snyder Cut actually become a thing. And it's just like...
Y'all are a bunch of fucking stupid people.
So literally Twitter and the weird ass fucking Snyder fanboys have memed the Snyder Cut into existence. Quite literally. I mean, it's as simple as that. And it's fucking bizarre, honestly. It's like look, I'm gonna watch it. I'm sure all of us will watch it.
Yeah.
And there's a fair chance Andrew and I might even have to have another fucking episode on the Justice League. We might have to do the Snyder Cut version of the podcast. I don't know. We'll see. But like,
didn't what's his face have an opinion about this? He released a video of him talking about it. I can't think of his name. The actor. What the fuck's his name? Batman.
Affleck?
Ben Affleck?
Yes, Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck had an opinion about it.
I didn't see that, so I know that there were a few, like, I think Henry Cavill was pretty supportive of this. I mean, most of the cast has been supportive of the Snyder Cut, which, like, we can be honest, like, the Whedon Cut is trash. Like, there's no doubt about it. But again, I think it's just going to be a similar situation, like, maybe it's moderately better, but it's still going to be bad. There's no version of this movie that exists in any incarnation without it being completely restructured that makes it that much better. Like, I'll watch it. And I'd like to. Well, I don't know that I'd like to be wrong because then I just look like
Was
an
this
idiot.
the
but
Batman that
I will be
that branded
surprised if
people?
I'll be wrong.
Like he just like fucking actively branded criminals.
Yeah. No, it's still the BVS Batman. You know, he's supposed to be reformed because he's learned his ways because Superman died for him
For
to be
sins.
back to being normal.
Is this the
Batman
one
or
where he
whatever,
saw the Flash in slow mo?
That was also BVS, but this is something I'm sure that'll be addressed in this. So, all right, let me just give some details on this that I'm seeing.
They all kind of blend together. I'm sorry.
So, all right, I mean, just listen to this fucking shit. I mean, does this? I just don't know who. Like, the only people that this is going to be appealing for is the people that are already like really predisposed to this type of thing, which I think is a pretty small. Like people will watch this like because it'll pique their curiosity. Like, but like the only people like really clamoring for this, were the weird Snyder fanboys. Whether it will be released as quote unquote an almost 4-hour director's cut or split into 6 chapters has yet to be decided. What? Who wants this? The Snyders are now in the midst of reassembling much of their original post-production crew to, listen to this, score, cut, add new and finish old visual effects, and yes, maybe bring back many of the actors to record additional dialogue.
No.
One source says peg the effort in the $20 million range. Another source says it could be closer to 30.
What?
Why? Why are they doing this?
Does HBO not have anything else to fucking put on their streaming platform? They want to spend $20 million on the Snyder Cut.
Well, they're putting Justice League the Whedon cut up on their day one, so
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Wow. I was gonna watch like Studio Ghibli, but okay.
That's day one, yeah. The Ghibli whole backlog, Miyazaki goodness, man. Like,
Give
whatever.
$20 million to Miyazaki to fucking just
Seriously.
get his shit done, please.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, #release the Snyder Cut. It will happen. Last but not least, new trailer for the movie may be primed to blow the doors of cinema chains off in July, should they reopen across the globe, or at least across the country, I guess I should say. Remains to be seen. Tenet, Christopher Nolan's latest film. Got some new trailer, a lot of footage in there. A little sneaky shot of Batman right before Robert Pattinson shows up in the next frame. We know what you're doing. Trailer editors, we know what you're doing. But inversion, time travel, fuckery, what's going on here?
Inversion. What is exactly is inversion? That
Fuck if I
fucking
know.
piqued
It's like
my interest.
Inception, but
It is
It's
inversion.
Inception, but it's a different word, so it
The
means something.
Yeah.
What the fuck is inversion? What are you dropping on me right now? You don't shoot the bullet, you fucking catch the bullet. Like, goddamn.
that was
What
pretty
is this?
cool.
What is this shit?
This is a stylish ass trailer. Like,
Yeah,
it's really a cool movie.
It's fucking cool.
I'm
man.
prepared to not understand this movie at all, but I'm
I'm
definitely
all in.
chilling with the vibe of it. Yeah, definitely.
110% in.
Yeah.
Best IMAX theater I can go to. I'm all about going to a goddamn movie theater.
Are you gonna do it day one, July 17th,
Day 1,
potentially?
July 17th. I don't know if I watched the wrong trailer, but mine just said in
theaters.
fucking
Like,
theaters.
we're still
Like,
coming
No
to
date,
theaters.
no date, just straight
No
up
date.
in
Yeah.
theaters.
It's in
just
fucking theaters.
fuck you, Netflix. Fuck you, CBS All Access. Fuck you, Amazon Prime.
That's
Fuck
what
you,
I got.
Disney Plus. Fuck you, coronavirus.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan's going balls deep.
Christopher Nolan is combating the coronavirus or teaming up with it, really.
Yeah, I got a lukewarm take on this. There's no
right,
fucking
let's-
way this movie's coming out on July 17th.
There's
no fucking way.
I agree. Like I respect Nolan wants his movie to come out in theaters, but
Yeah.
like
It's coming out in Florida,
just not-
bitches. We're
No, that's the thing. Like, the thing is, like, they need it to open up worldwide, and they need to have like theaters all around the world open, and not be like socially distancing to make money. To make like,
Yeah.
because it's a fucking big ass movie. I forgot what the budget is, but like, this is a
I'm
big
sure
ass
it's
Christopher
budget.
Nolan movie.
150 to
Like,
200
There's
million.
no
I
way
have to guess.
he's gonna take a L on this, and just like, yeah, I'm okay with like 30% of theaters nationwide or in the world opening up, and like people like sitting like 2 rows from each other. Like, no, like,
He needs
Not
to
for
pack
this
the
movie.
movie
Argument.
theater in. Yeah.
The only argument I can make against that is that if this is indeed the first movie that comes out on a kind of reopening of theaters, like
yeah,
presumably they'll have fucking 15 to 20 screens of just this fucking movie. Because like, what the hell else is going to be playing? So even in a socially distanced theater environment, I suppose there's a potential that you could try to hopefully recoup the money. But I don't know. I think you're going to get a mix of people that are, tired of, well, I've been at home for so long. Let me get, this gives me something to do because I'm just tired of, trying to do the right thing, really. And then you'll have the people that are like, I'm not stepping foot in a fucking theater until a vaccine comes along, which is an absolutely valid stance to take. So I don't know. It's a tough position that I don't envy the companies having to be put into this, but I think this moves. I think it's just too soon. Even those August releases are looking precarious. I think at this point, yeah. I think I've read about it's basically the New York and LA theaters that are going to dictate whether things really kind of move forward as planned. And well, I don't know. I just am hard pressed to really see things making such a dramatic movement in any direction, any positive direction, I guess I should say, within the next month and a half for this to really become a feasible reality. I think, and I hate to put this negativity out in there, but I think this takes Dune's December slot. I think that's what happens. So,
well, I'll see it whenever it does come out in theaters. So I'll
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see this in theaters. This is absolutely an IMAX movie for me. I just hope that it's something that I can see in IMAX safely, presumably. That would be ideal. But we shall see. So yes, as of now, July 17th, but really TBA. So yeah, that's the news this week. It's time, my friends, my Jedi Council mates. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's time to talk about Star Wars, The Clone Wars, a long-running series, which has now finally reached its conclusion on Disney Plus. Spanned Cartoon Network for, I think, its first 5 seasons, a 6th season revived several years later on Netflix, and then finally this last season on Disney Plus. Point of note, the whole series is available on Disney Plus. Point of note to the point of note, if anyone wants to jump in and watch The Clone Wars, how I watched it is a chronological order, which is available through StarWars.com.
Oh, you did do that?
I did. Although technically, there's a little fuckery with the last season, which I didn't realize until after I was basically halfway through it, where some of it's a little bit out of order, but not barely.
I can see that.
I think basically the second arc takes place before the first arc, but it's pretty inconsequential. They're not really tied together. And obviously the last arc very much is clear where it stands in terms of the timeline. Let's see what's going on the Clone Wars front. It was created by George Lucas. Supervising director was the only Dave Filoni. Stars the voices of Matt Lanter, James Arnold Taylor, Ashley Eckstein, D. Bradley Baker, Tom Kane, Matthew Wood, and many, many more. Very, very large cast, but lots of talented voices that came throughout the show. A lot of guest stars, sometimes from the movies, sometimes not, but all very talented and equal contributors in their own right. It, of course, basically takes place between Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, more or less, as the Jedi Knights lead the Grand Army of the Republic against the droid army of the Separatists. So it's the most interesting part of the prequels, which was, for some reason, not in the prequels.
You son of a bitch. You had to bring it up. You had to talk about it.
So I think we'll start on the non-spoiler front. Now, for both of you, it's been, well, I guess, Andrew, I know it's been years for you since basically you watched seasons 1 through 6, and then season 7 you obviously just jumped straight into as it kind of started airing on Disney Plus.
That's right.
Henry, what's your viewing experience with the Clone Wars? Like when did you jump in? When did you finish? Like how did you approach the show?
I'm pretty sure I actually watched Rebels before Clone Wars. Like I was watching it as it aired, and then I went back to watch Rebels. But I watched it like I picked episodes. Like I watched like the whole Maul arc and like a few things here and there. So then maybe within the past year, I went back and started from the beginning to be ready for season 7 to catch up on what I missed. So I went very out of order, but Clone Wars does tend to go in like you alluded to, in not a chronological order, so it wasn't a huge
No,
huge
not
confusion or anything like that.
Okay, so let me just ask very, very broadly. I know it's I won't ask specifics on anything besides the newest season because that's obviously recent for all of us. But I mean, what's your take on the Clone Wars in general, just as a show, as you've known it for years now? I mean, is it something you enjoyed? What is it about that stands out to you? Andrew, obviously, I know you liked it because you've been trying to get me on this shit for years, rightfully so. So what's your kind of take on the Clone Wars? Just very broadly, top down.
Very broadly, I think that the Clone Wars is 7 seasons? Is that right?
Yes,
yeah, now
7 seasons.
I think it's 7 seasons of shows that have like 4 very, very, very compelling arcs. Or maybe not 4, but I think there's 4. I don't know. There's
like long running arcs, or are you saying like specific, like episodic, like collected arcs?
Very episodic collected arcs. Like there's things that I specifically remember from the show that I'm very, very I'm very happy that I put the investment in on the filler episodes. I think there's a lot of very I don't know, not essential viewing for this show. And I think that I could have got away with if you had a collected list of what are the best things to watch in these episodes, or what are the best things to watch in the series, and you got away with 12 episodes or whatever. I think you would have been fine. And I think that's to the benefit of the show. You know, I think that there's a lot there for everyone to enjoy. But at the same time, you know, if you haven't seen it before, and you know I'm real hyped up on Star Wars, let me check this shit out. Let me get invested. I think 6 seasons or 7 seasons or whatever. What we decided is, I already forgot.
7.
7.
Yeah.
7 seasons is a lot of shit. That's a lot of content. And there's a lot of content to the show, and a lot of the content is. Like I can do without watching. You can watch it while you make dinner. You know what I mean? You don't really care to watch it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't think that necessarily makes it bad, but at the same time, it doesn't scream like, hey, listen, start in season 1, episode 1, start watching and grinding this shit out. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say. Watch each and every episode is important, because in my opinion, it's not. Each and every episode is not important. There's cool stuff that isn't important. Like there's one-off episodes that I specifically remember that are very cool. But the really cool, the coolest shit in this series is the Maul arc, the Ahsoka arc, and I think that might be it. I think those 2 arcs.
Okay.
I think I don't know, the Ahsoka, the Savage, the Maul, the stuff with
some cool like Anakin stuff when he meets like the brother and the sister, like that was
more
yeah, that's cool. Those are those one-off episodes that are pretty cool. I think those like 1 or 2 episodes maybe.
Small arc,
usually just. Well, a lot of the show is structured in 3 to 4 episode arcs. You know, like a batch of episodes that kind of centers around a conflict or a character going on some sort of mission, and ultimately, you know, I mean, like every episode starts with like some sort of parable or some sort of
which is
something
cool.
To
I really like
know, which obviously centers around kind of the dilemma or whatever the episode is about, and you know, it's just kind of a neat way of approaching it, and even within each arc, each episode kind of usually has some sort of central thing to it,
which is cool.
You know, it's still tied to the broader story, but yeah.
I don't want to talk bad about the show because I thoroughly enjoy the show.
But there's filler better
shit.
content
plenty
within
of like
it.
filler and like non-essential stuff. I guess.
Listen, skip all the Jar Jar shit. It's real bad. It does not do anything to redeem that character.
Yeah, it's just,
there's a lot of that in what the first couple seasons.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say the show got better as it aired. You know,
Later on,
I think there's some. Well, I mean, really, it started off on the absolute wrong foot because they put that fucking movie out in theaters, which is just bad. It's just
never saw it. I always debated on watching it. Never watched.
It's bad. It's like it was a huge mistake to put that in theaters. It's basically 3 to 4 episodes.
Yeah, it's like
stitched together as a movie, and it's like, as Clone Wars goes, it's a pretty bad arc. Like it's just not good, and it never should have been. It never should have been put in theaters that way.
No,
but. You know, it gets better, and you know, it ebbs and flows. I think because of the structure, where certain things are just going to be more interesting than others, certain characters are going to be more interesting than others. Again, the Jar Jar stuff is bad. Some of the droid stuff can be rough too. I think, from what I recall, some is better than others.
Like I think Grievous is far more compelling in Clone Wars than he is in
the show. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I'm pretty sure, maybe Obi-Wan aside, every single character from the prequels is more compelling in this series than they are in the prequels themselves.
That's
I mean,
true.
Anakin alone is leaps and bounds better than he is in the films.
Yeah,
no, this is like the Anakin Skywalker that like I want to think about when I think
it's
about
a character
Anakin
that
Skywalker.
like. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a character that, like, the way the development, like, you can see how he becomes Vader at times. Like, you know, he has that streak to him. But, you have so much time to kind of spend with him that it totally makes sense. And, of course, we've mentioned her multiple times, but this is the introduction of Ahsoka. Yeah. It was a vital character in the Star Wars mythos now, and it's thanks to Clone Wars and the development of her character. And, you know, she is... I think she's the strongest point about this entire series. I think she's the best character in the entire series, and she's clearly someone that Filoni had a lot of passion in creating, and
it's his character
making so prominent. But yeah, like it, and it feels that way, you know. And it's cool to see Anakin in a way that we really didn't see him in the prequels. It's cool to see Grievous in a way that we didn't see, and I think most of the Jedi Council at least has something to do other than sitting in a chair, which is nice too.
Still kind of an asshole.
Mace Windu is definitely an asshole, but that's consistent.
Kit Fisto is a total badass.
Kit Fisto is not just a goofy, grinning asshole, which is good. Palpatine is much more manipulative. I mean, Palpatine was good in the prequels, if over the top a bit at times.
Yeah, but
love you, Sheev, but come on,
he's still good. He's always been good.
But you know, the way just to see kind of the machinations of Palpatine throughout the series, it's really impressive kind of how they do it. Padme gets more. Yeah, I mean, it's
every character, like you said, every character is much more compelling in Clone Wars.
And I guess we should also say the fucking clones are actually characters in this.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, like that's really cool. Rex, obviously, Cody gets a little bit of play too, and kind of that squad that we see.
Yeah.
Chronologically, like first. Is that what they're called with Echo and Fives, and all of them get a lot of play, and so it's interesting, and so I think in spite of kind of the parts of it that don't work as well, you know, I like the movie stuff, and I guess like Zero the Hutt and whatever else I'm misremembering. Like there's stuff in here that's pretty bad, and at its core, especially early on, I think you have to add the caveat: it is kind of a kids show. Like
it starts out as a kids show. I think
I don't mean to to speak ill of it, but yeah, it starts out targeted, I think, for a younger audience, certainly, and it kind of ages up with the audience, perhaps you could say.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the content gets much more mature once you get to the season 5 or season 6 or whatever they start introducing Maul. Once you get to that arc, I think it gets I don't know, it gets dark. Some of it gets very dark.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot like pretty much. I mean, anytime they're on Dathomir, is just it's just kind of like horror inspired imagery with the Night Sisters and
which is fucking
Mother
good.
Talzin
It's super fucking good. Like it's so good. I remember. I don't know. I just get real excited thinking about it. The first time you see Maul just running around
cool.
the fucking tunnels in his spider legs. Yeah, he's been fucking abandoned by his master. Like he's just.
Oh man, what a great story.
Yeah. Oh man, so intense. So intense.
And where they go with that is just really cool, especially in the last season, which we'll talk about in
the
spoilers.
fact that he has a brother that's been fucking jacked up on the magic of Dathomir.
Yeah.
Oh man, stuff is so cool. Like, I mean, it's just I don't know, like when you watch any of the Star Wars films, none of the stuff is ever present. You know, none of the stuff's present. And then then it comes to the animated series and you just get, I don't know. It gets me hyped up way more than a lot of the I don't know. I keep saying I don't know. It's because I don't fucking know, man. I get
words.
I get real excited about it. Yeah, Savage Opress and the Night Sisters and Dathomir. The first time I played this video game that I'm playing, and you go to Dathomir and there's Night Brothers and stuff. It's really cool. It's super cool for the IP. It just expands the universe in ways that are never expanded upon in the films. And it's, I don't know, if for anybody that's really excited about Star Wars, the show does leaps and bounds for it. It really does. If you can put in the time for the filler episodes. There's a lot of filler episodes that I just think are just okay, whatever, you know. But if you can put in the time to get to season 5 or 6, or I can't even remember what season it happens in, even the bounty hunter episodes. Who's the guy with the big hat?
Cad Bane. He's a badass.
Yeah, Cad Bane's a badass. There's cool stuff, like Salt Bade throughout the shit.
Salt Bade sprinkled, yeah. I feel like trying to pitch this show to people is really tough because it's like, all right, it's Star Wars, but it's set in the prequels and it's animated, and those are like two things that people don't like. Like people don't like the prequel series of Star Wars. They're like, all right, why do I care about like teenage hormone Anakin and all this stuff? And then for some reason, people aren't into animation, which I still don't understand. But I feel like the shows are hard to sell, but it's a fantastic show. There's plenty of filler, like you said, but there's some gold in there. Like there are a couple episode arcs that are just fantastic. It's like all the nerdy shit that you would get from the comic books or the graphic novels or books themselves, but like put in like a visual medium. But it's fucking great. Like it's still Star Wars. It's not like this far out thing. Like there's magic and there's this and that, but like it doesn't seem like it doesn't belong in there. And when it's good, it's really good.
That's just it. When it's good, it's really fucking good. That's what I say about it.
Yeah, I don't think. I think even the lowest of the lows in this show are still higher than the lows of the prequels. Like,
by a long shot.
You know, I there's so much stuff in this, and it's clear. I've always maintained, and we probably said as much when we did our episode on the Skywalker saga, that there's so many good ideas contained within the prequels that just weren't executed the way that they should have been. But this show takes those and executes them in the ways that they arguably should have been done so in the first place. Like in terms of characterization, I think those characters we see a lot more. But in terms of just the action is good. It's just a lot of it that just feels like these settings and ideas that the prequels toyed with but never quite delivered on, and this just kind of really it does. It just delivers on all those things. So I guess just as a kind of way to pivot here, is there any other just kind of broad thoughts again? Just Clone Wars overall as a series?
No, I mean, I want to talk about Ahsoka more, but I feel like we might as well just save her for spoilers because there's so much cool stuff that happened in the last season. But one of the best additions to Star Wars, like one of my favorite Star Wars characters now, and like it's going to be so cool seeing her come to the live action medium.
Definitely. So, staying in non-spoilers for the time being, how does the final season stack up? Does it deliver on the hype? Does it live up to the highs that we've talked about with the series as a whole?
What do you think, Andrew?
You want my opinion? I was holding my breath because I have hiccups, but I will tell you what I think. So, there is one particular thing that I rewind when I watch. What is it? Star Wars.
Clone Wars?
Nope. It's the movie. It's the movie. The fuck's
Attack
the
of the
show?
Clones.
Jedi?
Revenge
Nope.
of the Sith.
It's the show with fucking Darth Vader kicking ass.
Rebels.
Empire.
No,
Empire Strikes
Back. I don't
puts
know.
the guy-
Rogue One.
Yes, Rogue One.
Oh,
That's it.
We got there.
Star Wars Rogue One. So the last sequence of Rogue One. We're in spoilers now, right?
No, still
not yet.
non-spoilers for just the final season. I just wanted to see
The final season. Okay, so I think in short, I would say that I think the final season hits on the notes and the what's the word I'm looking for? The fucking what's the word I'm looking for? It picks
feel,
up
flavor.
on the vibe. I'm just gonna say vibes. It's not vibes.
Okay,
I was looking for a much more articulate word. But the last season of Clone Wars picks up on the vibes of the end of Rogue One. Like the
Yes,
dark nature.
I said it out loud. There's a particular sequence I think that
That's right.
evokes.
And it's almost
that, yeah.
almost verbatim. Like it's very dark. I don't know. It's unapologetic and
It's fucking cool is what it is.
It's fucking cool is what it is. Exactly. Could not be said better. It's fucking cool. Like when you think of a Sith Lord doing what he's doing, and I'm not going to spoil it, you think of what's happening in the show. And a lot of times they might tiptoe around it, but not season 6 of the show. It's you're tuning in.
7.
You know it's season 7. Yeah, whatever. It's good. It's good. It's intense. It's dark, and it's what you would expect from the characters in the show. And the animation is top notch. I would say
It's upgraded for sure.
For sure.
From previous seasons.
That's right. The combat, the choreography of the characters, even though it's animated, it's fucking spectacular. It's very cool, and I can't give it enough praise. There's stuff that's in there that I think even this season has fillers of its own, but
Agree.
But the fillers of this season are that they're interesting enough to captivate your attention, in my opinion. So
Yeah, and additionally, this season is technically shorter than any other season.
That's right.
So kind of helps. And it's 3 arcs, right? It's 3 kind of separated arcs that each kind of stand on their own, more or less.
And I think each season stands well on its own, and I wouldn't say that any arc is really bad. I would just say that one arc in particular is filler, and
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it. We'll probably just go arc by arc for spoilers, but I think we'll have a few things to say on the first 2, and then we'll have a lot to say on the third one. That's my bold prediction, but it's probably not off base, I wouldn't think. So, all right, so Andrew, do you think the final season is up to the rest of the series in terms of quality?
certainly.
Is that safe to say? Henry, would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I mean, overall, the last season's great. I think there's 3 arcs. I'll say the first Bad Batch arc is great. The second arc, I was a little bit taken out of, but I think it's still good.
It's the weakest.
It's still
of
good.
The 3 for sure.
But then that final arc is fantastic. It's just top
Just-
tier
just-
Star Wars, and let's talk about it some more.
We'll talk about it some more. I might forget to say something later, but just the way that Clone Wars starts with, and and the narration and everything, and then they changed it up a little bit, and I was just like, it was pretty hype worthy, I would say. Season 7. I guess I should say I've watched season 7 in 2 or 3 days now. Watched 8 episodes today. Watched basically the second and the third arcs today, and I happened to catch the third arc in 4K HDR at home with the surround sound, and buddy, that was the way to watch it. It was fucking cool. It was cool. It was chills inducing for sure. And it was just every episode ended, and I'm like, well, that was a fucking cool episode. So There's just a lot of really great shit in that particularly in that final arc that was just cool, man.
It's good.
It was good. Outside of that, I think I jumped back in towards the end of season 4, slowly worked my way through season 5, and then season 6 was one I watched in 2-3 days as well. And that one was hit and miss. There was a Jar Jar and Mace Windu 2-episode arc that was like, ooh, this is the dregs of the Clone Wars. But yeah, this season, I really liked that first arc, and obviously the third arc was something we're going to talk about and dissect a little bit more. Second arc was the weakest for sure for me, but yeah, I enjoyed it the whole way through. And even though it wasn't for me something where like 6 years later I get to experience more Clone Wars, I appreciated that it motivated me to go back and watch everything and then catch up and then now finish the series. Obviously, I know, again, as someone that hasn't watched Rebels, clearly there are things in this particular season that were clearly made in mind for someone that has watched Rebels, or at least will understand a little bit more if they've seen Rebels, or appreciate a little bit more if they've seen Rebels. But at the same time, maybe this is the fucking inspiration I need to watch Rebels.
Yeah,
it's only been 3 or 4 years past when I promised Andrew I'd be caught up on it. So
Rebels is fucking incredible.
And it's also on Disney Plus, Rebels. So it's all there for the taking. So
there you go.
All right, so recommendation. I
can't drink any more wine. We need to get into it.
Yeah, very briefly, recommendation. I am going to say I'm a very yes on the Clone Wars, in spite of its ups and downs. I think that you like Star Wars, you'll probably like the Clone Wars, and I think it really makes you appreciate what George was going for with the prequels. I wish that he got there. But I Clone Wars overall, and especially just the way that season 7 in particular ties into the prequels, it almost makes you appreciate them a little bit more. But I have maintained that I wish the prequels basically covered the Clone Wars instead of deferring to a vastly superior show to do so. The one positive is we have the vastly superior show, and so it's not to speak ill of the show, but it's just it highlights the missed opportunity there. But at least the opportunity was realized in some fashion. So for that, I say it's a very yes show. What do you guys think? Where does it stack up for you? Very yes, totally fine. I think it's at least probably one of those three.
It's a very yes for me. Like it's what I wanted. Looking back at it, what I wanted the prequels to be, and it's especially with season 7. Like, I have to recommend it for anyone who's into Star Wars. If you're not a fan of the prequels, even like go back and at least familiarize yourself with it, and then check out Clone Wars. This is it has some top tier Star Wars stuff.
So my opinion is, and I'm going to be a little bit different than you guys.
Oh.
I'm going to say that at its best, it is definitely 100% very yes. Okay? But I would say that the amount of investment and time that it requires to get through to the very yes content, I would say for the vast majority of people, it would be a yes show. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I would say that it requires a very large investment to get to the best content of the show. I mean, you really have to fucking mine it out. Is it worth mining out? Yes, without a doubt. I think you can get to some very compelling content that is arguably better than episode 1, 2, I think even 3. Episode 1, 2, and 3 of live action film. I think you can get to better content in this show. But it does require hours and hours and hours of content for what is maybe 3, maybe 4 hours worth of content. So it's hard for me to say. Like, for example, Sarah's dad is a big Star Wars fan, right? But he tried to watch it, and naturally he got lost within the first couple of hours because he wasn't interested in watching a bunch of filler shit. It's hard to tell him, hey, put in forth the effort to get to season 5. Get to season 5, and there's some really awesome shit. It's hard to tell.
Just
him
watch
that.
the 80 episodes that precede it. No big deal.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
hard to tell.
that's
somebody
valid.
that. So I would say it's a lot of very yes covering, or it's a lot of yes covering what is a healthy nugget of very yes. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's definitely.
Yeah. To be fair,
true.
I had a similar reaction because when I first started watching, I watched like season 1, and I was like, I'm not that into it. So I just went and like picked a couple arcs, like, let me watch the mall stuff, let me watch this, and then I went back and watched all of it. So I can definitely see that. And
honestly, I think that you could probably skip around to your liking and not miss a whole lot.
You can,
because most arcs are really pretty self-contained. I think you probably lose out a little bit of certain characters, like Ahsoka's development, Asajj, Ventress gets a lot of development throughout the series too, and it's like I think it's really kind of the series specific characters that get a lot of play. I guess probably naturally speaking, just because a lot of the other characters, like you kind of know that they start somewhere in 2 and they end somewhere by the time 3 starts. So you can't do too much with those characters other than kind of keep them on the track that they're already set upon. But like Ahsoka, Ventress, like those characters are kind of free game to really kind of do what you will. And the other characters, you just get a chance to expand on them. In the case of Anakin, make him an actual likable character. God, can you believe him? He's actually somewhat enjoyable at times.
He's a person. Imagine that.
Yeah. Sorry, Hayden. We appreciate you, but we'll blame George, I guess. I don't know. But all right. So yes, recommendation. You've heard it from us. Now it's time to get into full spoilers for Season 7, aka the final season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So I know we're itching at the bit to talk about the final arc, but let's just quickly go one by one with the arcs, and we'll start with the Bad Batch, which I fucking enjoyed. I thought this was great. I thought I forget whatever the clone squad is called, but
the badasses.
Yeah, the badasses, that cool ass armor. Each one's kind of got their own special, like they're mutated clones, I guess is kind of how they explain them. And each, they got the big dude who's a big goofball that can fucking lift heavy shit and throw people around.
Right.
You got Crosshair, who's a sharpshooter. You got Tech, who appropriately is Tech, and then you got fucking Rambo, Hunter, whatever his name is, wearing the headband and shit. Those guys were cool. I liked them a lot. That was a fun crew. Get a lot of play with them in those first 4 episodes, and I guess Anakin, right? Isn't that? Yeah, Anakin with Admiral Trench and the I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was cool. Yeah. I just like the vibe of those few episodes. Like it was quintessential Clone Wars, and honestly, kind of filler-ish type things.
Those were the filler episodes of Season 7, for sure.
Well, I would say that the middle? I think they're fillerish. I think the middle is the worst of it, but I think I agree with you in they're fillerish in the sense that they're not plot consequential. Like at least the second arc deals with Ahsoka as a character and moving her character forward from kind of
You're talking about the episodes
the way that
where
she's been left.
She's Ahsoka's down at the bottom of Coruscant or whatever.
Yeah, 1313. Yeah, with the 2 sisters and kind of going through that with the Pikes and all that. Well, before we get there, any thoughts on just that first Bad Batch arc? Just generally speaking, we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it if you guys
that
want.
One sniper
I enjoyed the hell
cool.
out of it. It was like I just thought it was a fun way to kind of get into the new season. Like it was, not plots consequential really in too much other than Anakin. First, not I guess it's the first time he kills some Separatist admirals, and later obviously he executes one Count Dooku, but.
You can see the development of the character. You can see him evolving to that point, which I think is pretty cool. I also think it's pretty cool that, fuck, what was I gonna say?
Well, I would say it was cool that they brought back Echo and kind of how it had been integrated into the algorithm.
Yes, it brings a much darker tone to Star Wars, to where the Separatists are capturing people, keeping them in these vats and fucking hacking into their brains, and it's just a much darker tone than what we're accustomed to with Star Wars. It kind of just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
and like even though they saved him like dude has like no legs. He's like missing a fucking arm. His arm is like a droid socket thing, you know, that like R2 has. Like I was just like, man, like this dude's
he's messed
Fucked up.
messed
Yeah.
up. Yeah, big time.
And we haven't got that from Star Wars. So it's kind of it's very interesting to see that different shade come through, you know, and that's what I don't know, that's what I like from Clone Wars, is the fact that they're constantly kind of they're just tweaking
Pushing it.
Yeah. They're pushing the envelope of what we get from, or what we can expect from Star Wars.
And Anna was talking about this earlier, about just kind of how the Clone Wars as a series in general, like it kind of highlights the purported morality of the Jedi Order, and kind of how fallible they are. Like obviously we see the fall of the Jedi Order within the prequels, but like you kind of see like, you know, the Jedi Order is not so infallible. Like they clearly make some very questionable decisions, and obviously that pertains directly into Ahsoka's arc.
I mean,
both in season 5 and
they
in
were like
season
about
2,
to find out that Palpatine was the Emperor like multiple times, and then just like, oh no, it's fine, or just like,
I mean, they literally they found out about the fucking control chips and the droids' heads, and they're just like,
and then Yoda's like, oh, we cannot tell this one. Like, Yoda's like, just bury it, just like don't tell anybody. It was like, all right, Yoda, this is not the best, the best decision here.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
That's really it. I mean, it speaks volumes of the future films, which is cool too. It kind of breathes.
Yeah. And you know, obviously we know where things go, but
but I mean, it allows for a different perspective. You know what I mean? If you watch 4, 5, and 6, you know, you're believed into you think
the Jedi are the greatest, you know, order of all time. Like they're great. Like, oh, the Empire is so evil for vanquishing them, which, like, you know, that's a really fucked up thing to do. I'm not defending that, obviously, but like the Jedi, the downfall of the Jedi was largely of their own doing.
Exactly. And it breathes a lot more character into what it is to be a Jedi and to be, you know, what they are and everything else, you know, and I don't know, just it provides topography to the characters, which is interesting, or topography to the landscape, the social landscape of Star Wars, which is very cool.
I think it fits very neatly with everyone's favorite Star Wars film, The Last Jedi, which, you know, like Luke is like, I mean, his whole point is like, you know, like the Jedi Order was like, you know, they did some dumb shit. Like there's some things about like the way the Jedi operated that
they
like
allowed Darth Sidious to rise up and destroy them.
Yeah, their own pride allowed them to be fucking blind to it.
They're completely fucking valid points, you know, and maybe it's not consistent with hashtag not my Luke Skywalker or whatever bullshit, but like, you know, like he's not fucking wrong. And like I think this series shows like exactly kind of how it was the Jedi put themselves in a position to be manipulated to literally their own demise by basically one fucking person. You know, powerful the dark side is or whatever, but like the Jedi Council were a bunch of dumb fucks. Is kind of what the bottom line was. And like it's just kind of how it kind of came down to it is like they through basically smelling their own farts for years and years and years. They kind of let themselves, you know, be opened to these vulnerabilities. But
smelling their own farts, I like that. That's a good way to put it. You've been smelling your own farts for so long, you didn't see Darth Sidious doing that nasty shit. Anyways, we can move on.
All right, so any other lingering thoughts on that first arc, Bad Batch? We ready to roll on?
Let's roll on.
All right, so the second arc, we come to Ahsoka Tano, no longer part of the Jedi Order, but hanging out in the underworld of Coruscant, getting up to some shenanigans. The Pike Syndicate, some spice running and shit. What did you guys think about this little set of episodes here?
This is probably where the filler element comes in. Like, I enjoyed this arc for what it shows about the Jedi.
Yeah.
So, you know, Ahsoka's all about, like, I left the Jedi Order because I didn't agree with what they did. They persecuted me for these false accusations. And then she meets the Martell sisters, and they're all about, like, well, the Jedi never helped us, and then you go into their backstory of how the Jedi were actually like there when their family got destroyed, and all they could do was, you know, basically say like the Force is with you, and like, all right, but what does that do for us? So I appreciated like that, like getting down to like the people of Coruscant aspect of it. Thought like 4 episodes was kind of a lot for this arc, but I don't know, I still enjoyed it overall. It wasn't as strong as the Bad Batch for me, but I always like Ahsoka and seeing her character grow and like seeing her feelings about the Jedi Order, so I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would say like Ahsoka herself is great in these episodes. I think Ann and I are on the same page because we watched this last season together. The Martez sisters were insufferable at times, I felt, and it was kind of disappointing because it seemed like they could have been cool characters, but they just, I don't know, they just became annoying, and like it was just constant back and forth arguing, and like, I don't know, just I think Anna actually said it's like watching Uncut Gems all over again with just the dumb decision making throughout each episode, and I felt the frustration there because it was just like like every like the dumbest
like,
possible move anyone can make. They're just
spice like while you're in hyperspace, like what the fuck? Like why is that?
You guys are arguing, so I'm gonna dump all this fucking spice. Okay, well that was a real fucking stupid thing to do, but I all right, well, I guess that's how it's going to go. Yeah, I found it was too long. I could have done with 2 episodes of this, I guess maybe 3, but just with the way they were written, it was just a frustrating watch. And like, I didn't feel like there was a point where things kind of came together in a way that was really super satisfying. It was more just like Ahsoka's the cool one, and like she has to get everyone out of their shit, and you know, and I don't know. I guess if there was anything that I enjoyed, it was like, once the Mandalorians kind of came in, I'm just like, what are these? What's going on here? And obviously that, yeah, that was cool. And you see a hint of Maul towards the end, which I think. So I know, like the last time we saw Maul prior to this was basically that fucking crazy ass episode where Sidious travels out to Mandalore, fights with him, kills Savage, and like electrocutes fucking Maul. And like we don't really know what happened to him. Although I think the Son of Dathomir comic takes place kind of in between this and where we pick up here, as far as I know. I haven't read it, but want to read it. Haven't read it. Yeah, you know, Maul, as we've talked about throughout this episode, one of the coolest aspects is taking a character that was cool looking and had a cool fight scene, but was not a character in episode 1, and taking him and making him into a character, and a compelling a compelling character at that. Like, it's really, really interesting how they handled Maul as a character, and so to see that kind of hint of that, like that was again the most exciting thing about this, was just like, oh, and again, this isn't bad. None of this is bad. It was just kind of frustrating to watch, but I liked the aspect of Ahsoka concealing her identity as a Jedi, and kind of how that comes to light and what that means. And Kessel, I think we went to Kessel in one of these episodes, which is a little bit of a solo connection there, obviously. So,
like the Pike Syndicate,
right, yeah, you know, something that's, you know, works for the lore, but just wasn't the most compelling thing to watch. Like, I guess, well, it's interesting too because not only did, like, there's a lot of stuff they canceled. Like, Cartoon Network canceled the Clone Wars after season 5, and clearly Filoni and company had ideas for a lot more episodes. I think they had many more episodes basically planned out. I know the Bad Batch 4-episode arc was something that was intended to be completed at that point. I think had maybe been released in an unfinished state in one of the Star Wars celebrations, and then they ended up kind of redoing it for this. But I know Anna recommended to me to read Dark Disciple, which is a book that deals with Asajj Ventress, who we get no resolution on her character whatsoever through the show, but I think the book kind of covers that ground. Okay. And so it's just like, I guess it's one of those things, like maybe you don't want to make a show that covers the same ground as a canon novel, but I kind of felt like if you're going to adapt some things, like the way that the final arc in this handles some fucking excellent, super cool shit, like I just felt like if you're going to do only 12 episodes and that's going to be it, like give us some meaty shit, and this just really didn't feel like that. Like, it's important because it gives us Ahsoka and it sets her in this kind of thing, in the frame of mind where she is leading up to the events of that final arc. But I just wish that it was wrapped around something just more compelling for the character specifically. But I don't know. Andrew, any thoughts on this one?
There was that one fucking robot. I know I sound like a fucking idiot every time I talk. It's okay. That one fucking robot at the end was really cool. The one that ran amok in the middle of like downtown Coruscant.
Yeah, the one they were building. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I never seen that robot before. But when I was playing the Star Wars video game,
does that robot show up again at some point?
let me tell you something.
Oh, really?
Okay, I'm sitting there. I'm doing my Jedi shit in the fucking video game. All of a sudden, there's a fucking robot just like that.
Is it fast as fuck?
It's fast as fuck, and it kicked my ass.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, that robot's no joke.
That's funny.
shit.
That's cool. That is pretty cool. I like that.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's all I got, because that's all I got from that fucking arc. There was not a whole lot in that arc other than that robot
Cool robot.
kicked some ass, and that it threw them all amok, and it caused some problems from them. They did dump that spice off in the middle of the fucking space for no reason whatsoever. It seemed stupid. It was a lot of that shit was stupid. But I tell you what wasn't stupid was that last arc.
That last arc was indeed not stupid. So, I don't know. Was it
Henry's body is
yeah.
ready. I can see him like fucking like moving.
Well, this
is
is the main deal here, man. This is, fucking Clone Wars taking place alongside effectively Revenge of the Sith, and getting a new perspective to Order 66 and associated events. Like, fuck. And I said it earlier, but like, you get the full like Lucasfilm and like Star Wars fanfare treatment like at the beginning, and I'm just like, and like this is basically
like
a 4-episode kind of mini movie. Yeah, you could definitely edit this together, and it's clearly presented as a continuous thing. Like, I think past the first episode you don't get narration, so it's clearly something that was kind of intended to be this really tightly connected kind of continuation of not only the series, but something that really, really closely echoes the movie itself in terms of the plot developments. And there's a lot of stuff in here that's just, it blew me away.
I would watch this in theaters. If this wasn't the COVID-19 universe, if they had put out this like 4-episode arc in theaters, I would see it so quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is, I think bottom line, you think about Clone Wars as a series. Am I going to rewatch Clone Wars as a series, like start to finish?
No. But I'd
Clone Wars,
rewatch this.
It's too sparsely connected. But like this, the mall stuff, like there's segments of the show. Basically, kind of what Andrew had been talking about is just like there's some very yes shit in this. And I think that's enough for me to carry the show. But I think absolutely, like, that's the stuff that you rewatch. But this really is just so tightly connected and so fucking cool that, like, this stands on its own. Like, you could, I was planning on watching the prequels anyway, because the Clone Wars admittedly got me in the spirit of revisiting them. Just because I haven't seen them in a little while. I wanted to rewatch them before Skywalker came out, and then I just ran out of time, didn't get a chance to do it. So I've been kind of meaning to do it for a little while, but this is kind of inspiring me to be like, oh, let me watch the prequels and see how I kind of enjoy them with kind of the extra layers that I've added from watching the Clone Wars. And this particularly, like, I want to go fucking watch Revenge of the Sith. I have feelings on the movie, but I still want to watch it and just kind of experience the opposite side of events that we kind of see referenced in this. And I don't know, it's just cool.
Yeah.
So
it's like direct dialogue from the movie.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So yes, I'm sure you guys really been wanting to talk about this for over an hour plus now. So let's have at it. I mean, what about this is just, well, I mean, Andrew, you started with something about Darth Maul, I believe.
Yeah. No, you get that
Little Rogue One connection.
Yeah, you get that Rogue One thing where he's you get Vader walking down the corridor just completely annihilating absolutely everybody. You get the same thing with fucking Darth Maul. but without a fucking lightsaber.
Fucking Sans lightsaber. Yeah, that is just
manipulating the Force in such a way to where he's, just annihilating fucking brutal. Everybody. It's absurd. And then it lends a lot of perspective to his character when you see him in Rebels, which is fucking cool too. He's just a really compelling dude, man. Darth Maul is fucking cool. There's nothing you can. There's no two ways about it. He's a fucking cool guy. And he gets not a leg one to stand on. He's released solely on the principle of being a distraction, and he does that entirely. He rips apart the entire ship. And
he fucking destroys the hyperdrive. He's just like, fuck you guys. And he steals the ship out from under Ahsoka and Rex, and is just like, peace, bitches.
Yeah, no, he's a force to be reckoned with for sure. But more so than that, you get the there's that sequence there at the end where Darth Vader finds Ahsoka's lightsaber.
Yeah, flash forward. That was I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's a powerful moment. There's a lot of moments that are just.
It's a really fitting note for the series to end on. Again, given that I would think that. The show it's Ahsoka, it's a way to add a new lens onto a lot of these characters that we saw in the prequels, but Ahsoka is again, I think for all intents and purposes, the main character of the Clone Wars as a series of here's this new character who is Anakin's apprentice who has no mention whatsoever in the prequels, but clearly fundamentally still plays a huge part in his development as a person and eventually, I guess, is a turn to the dark side and manipulation under Palpatine.
But she's stapled to his good side, she knows she knows him as a person, and for him to stumble down the road that he goes down, it plays a large impact on her opinion of the Jedi. It plays a large impact on her as a person, and just as a character in general. I think that tying her to Anakin is it's just a very compelling way to tell two stories, to tell both sides of a coin.
Well, it's also sort of like poetry in that it rhymes as well. So
that's right.
So yeah. It was a cool ending though, for sure. Henry, what do you think about this little arc here?
Oh man, well, this is great. Like you're saying, this really felt like a movie from the opening crawl to even between the episodes. They don't do the little recaps and everything. It's just you can watch it all. And I was watching this week by week, but before the last one, I went back and rewatched all the ones in order so I could kind of binge the whole four like a little movie. And the experience is just great. Like everything was really upped in terms of production, and like so many amazing moments. Like in the first episode, just like Anakin and Obi-Wan, which were a very small part of this arc, still had some cool moments in the Revenge of the Sith tie-ins. But then that already had me completely hooked. But then episode like 2 and 3 is like when shit goes down. Like Maul comes in, and then in particular that Ahsoka and Maul fight is, I don't know. Yeah. I thought like that's probably one of my favorite fight scenes. I think maybe in all of Star Wars. Like that was incredible.
Yeah. Certainly, I think probably within the series, it's a safe bet for one of the best. But yeah, maybe even like saga wide, I think you could certainly make that argument. This is a sort of fun fact, I guess, kind of branching off that. You guys may be aware of this. I'm not sure, but they actually used motion capture to make that fight happen.
Wow, I didn't know that.
They brought the man himself in, Ray Park, to do movements for Maul. Yeah, so and it does feel a little bit. I don't want to say more grounded. But it's a little less fantastical than some of the other Clone Wars fights have been in terms of acrobatics and stuff like that. Now, granted, they're all balancing on these fucking beams and shit, but still, it felt there was a fluidity to it that I think felt different for the show in a good way, though.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how I felt. Because when I was watching it too, my first thought was like, this looks like someone captured it, with real people. Because especially like one movement where like Maul jumps up and kind of like twists his body a little bit. I was like, that's a lot of detail, and like you said, it felt different. It felt very like people could be doing this. Granted, people with Jedi and Force wielding powers, but still, it felt very realistic as something like this can get.
Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know. There's it's so cool to kind of see. Maybe I'm repeating myself. I'm not sure, but it's so cool to see this kind of angle of the events, basically, from Revenge of the Sith. I think particularly, with these two characters that, for all intents and purposes, when Revenge of the Sith was made, Darth Maul was dead, and Ahsoka didn't not exist, right?
Yeah.
So this is all kind of, you could say, I guess, tacked on, but not really. Like the way that, there's a lot of care put into it to make sure that it fits, all the pieces fit into the chronology so that, nothing is really broken or anything like that. But the way that, like, it's yet another example of, being almost one or two steps away from foiling Palpatine's master plan and yet not quite being able to do it. And obviously it kind of is clearly setting up certain things with, Ahsoka and Maul obviously have presences in other television series. And so naturally anyone that's seen that is going to know that, things are going to play out in a certain way. Anakin is still going to fall to the dark side and become Vader.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka and Maul are going to end up where they end up. But still, even though, it's kind of interesting because I'm the one experiencing it, having not really any knowledge of kind of how things play out in Rebels, whereas you guys are kind of the flip side. So this is, I don't know. It'll be interesting to kind of see how that works for me, having not watched Rebels. But I just think it's so cool how they kind of retrofitted this around the Revenge of the Sith storyline, and even just like little moments when, like, I forget exactly what the dialogue is, but Ahsoka's or someone's just like, well, why don't you ask Dooku what's up? And then they're just like, yeah, Dooku's dead, so Anakin just killed him. It's just cool. I really liked how they did that, and the stuff with, like, they talk about Obi-Wan going to Utapau for Grievous and stuff like that. I don't know. I like this idea of Maul basically being kind of a pissant, just being like, what, fuck Sidious, and kind of have that angle of him, I think was kind of a neat way for him to kind of be this X factor in the show. Really enjoyed that. I know we've talked about the Maul stuff kind of being, the highlight, or at least one of the highlights of the series in general, but I think they really was really brought all together, I thought, with this kind of final arc and his presence and stuff like that. So yeah, some cool shit.
It was neat that he wanted to kill Anakin because, at first I'm like, he says, you're the wrong Jedi. And I'm like, oh, he wants Obi-Wan because he fucking always wants Obi-Wan. But
Kenobi.
Yeah, right. That was interesting. I like that. I like that take. Andrew, were you surprised at all, kind of going from this to the Order 66, probably the next big moment? Were you surprised that Rex turned on Ahsoka, like having knowing kind of the things in Rebels? Like I wasn't really expecting that.
I thought that he I for some reason I just assumed that he never had the chip, or they had.
I thought he took it. I thought he took it off. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I obviously am aware of Rex's existence beyond the Clone Wars, and I have a pop of him. I have a pop of the entire Rebels cast up on my wall, despite having seen it. Right. Very little of the show. But that was cool. I mean, there was definitely. I mean, Ahsoka was taking some serious punishment, at one point, and even if you kind of know where things are going, but I think especially if you don't know where things are going, if you're someone like me, that even though I kind of know that Ahsoka's going to come back up in some form, there's still a lot of tension in just the way that they constructed that. Like, I feel like we got that montage in Revenge where all the Jedi just kind of get mowed down within seconds, but here it was like this protracted, conflict on the Republic cruiser. It was cool shit. And the way that she ended up saving Rex was really cool and touching, and obviously their relationship obviously plays a pivotal role in the story moving forward from what I can gather. So it's cool to see. I mean, there's you could probably spend a lot of time just kind of going through a lot of the stuff frame by frame. And I was thinking about it, and I talked with Anna about it earlier. I think it would actually be really interesting to see an edit of these 4 episodes cross-cutting with Revenge of the Sith, just, to keep those timelines lined up, to see kind of both sides of things, and, get a kind of a more complete package with Maul and Ahsoka's kind of storylines added to all the other craziness that's already unfolding in Revenge.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure people have made some of those on YouTube.
I'm sure if it hasn't happened already, I'm sure it's just a matter of time. Absolutely, but I don't know if I'd actually go back and watch it. But I think it could be pretty neat, regardless. You guys have any other thoughts on anything standing out to you guys? You guys want to talk about for this final arc? Again, a lot of craziness, and I guess I would say for you guys, it's been maybe a couple weeks. I'm not sure how recently you guys ended up watching it. We are a little bit behind the curve. Watching and talking about the series, thanks to yours truly, of course. But I did it. Come on, guys, I did it.
You did.
Pat on the back.
I've got nothing else, man.
Yeah. Okay. Henry, any other things stand out?
Is if you're gonna bring a show back, you do it this way. Like, you bring it back to end it. They had I guess they ended Clone Wars like 2 times before, with like Ahsoka leaving in season 5, then like tacked on season 6, like also had an ending, but like this feels like the real ending, and a proper way to really close a lot of those stories. So it just, they brought it back, and a lot of people had high expectations, but I really think the team delivered on this one. Yeah,
it was a satisfying ending, because again, being so behind the curve, like I just said, to have basically the show at one point end with Ahsoka just leaving the Jedi Order, like, that's a pretty holy shit kind of thing. And I don't know Rebels would have been at that point, so I don't know like what did that mean for the Ahsoka character, for fans of the show to just be like, oh shit, like, are we gonna have to turn to comics and books for more of this? Like, how's that gonna work? And they did do that, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that they ended up just adapting because they canceled the show. But then even season 6, like, I don't think Ahsoka's in it at all, as far as I'm aware. I
don't think so.
It's pretty kind of a few kind of neat arcs, and a Jar Jar one less neat. But like the Yoda one was pretty cool, learning to become Force Ghost. Like that was pretty neat. That shit. Qui-Gon coming back. There's some cool stuff.
Fucking in there. Darth Bane was in there.
Darth Bane, yeah, that was some cool
awesome
shit. Voiced by Mark Hamill. So all right. Well, I think does that do it for Star Wars: The Clone Wars?
It does it for me.
I think that covers it.
Alrighty then. Good coverage it was, if I do say so myself. So, assume you guys have been up to some goodies, watching some things, playing some things, anything like that. Anyone want to chip in? Talk about what they've been up to?
Somebody else lead off. I have to think about this for a minute.
All right. Let's see. Sure. I have like too much stuff that I've been doing because I was on vacation for 2 weeks, and everything's still closed. So let's see. I wrote a couple things down, I think, just that I wanted to bring up. So back when it aired, so it was a while now, I did watch Tiger King, and it was a fucking shit show, and it was very entertaining.
We've been saying
I was thoroughly entertained.
We've been saying 5 recommendations will do it. Are you willing to be the first one to step up to the plate, or would you say
I'm putting one in? If you want to see some crazy people, and then some interesting celebrities come up to, and Carol Baskins, the infamous Carol Baskins, is in Tampa, Florida. So there's that connection there.
Fucking Florida.
Yeah. Another documentary. I finished the Last Dance. The Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls.
Oh yeah. How was
documentary? It was good. Cool. I don't really consume that many sports documentaries. I can't remember the last one that especially not one this long. There's 10 episodes, they're like an hour each with commercials, but it's good. I think even if you're not like a diehard NBA fan, if you think like everyone's heard of Michael Jordan, probably has a little bit of history, like knows a little bit about the 90s. It's super entertaining because he's definitely a crazy guy, and the team around him was very interesting. But I don't think it paints him in like a particular way or another. Like it shows you the amazing things he did as an athlete. It shows how kind of much of an asshole he was to his teammates, and he acknowledges that. But it's good for sure. I recommend that one more. I would recommend that more than Tiger King. But if you just want to see crazy people, just see Tiger King.
You can come to work with me for a day if you like.
We can sell some cars to Carol. See, we finished up. Have either of you seen Neon Genesis Evangelion? The old,
the fucking
90s
robots?
The
anime?
original one. No,
Yeah.
I haven't. I have not.
I had not seen it. It's all up on Netflix, actually. It's good.
Is it awesome?
It's awesome. The ending's very weird, and it's very controversial. Like I don't know the whole history behind it, but like I think what Easton was saying is like the creator had some mental health issues at the end, and it gets fucking weird, but it's good. We actually picked it up because we watched Devs.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of biblical connections, just like Devs had as well. So that was kind of our jumping off point to it. See, rewatched Westworld season 2, so we're gonna start season 3 soon. Looking forward to that. Watched Chernobyl. That was really good. Very disturbing.
That's some hard hitting shit right there.
Yeah.
It's a killer show.
Watched Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Available on
Hulu, right? Yeah, how was that? I've heard it's excellent.
That was good. Yeah, very very
Definitely
excellent.
on my list.
Definitely like a particular type of film. Like I feel like Parasite is very relatively approachable for like a foreign kind of indie-ish film, right? I think this is more like towards the indie and foreign side, so maybe less
like art housey.
Like
well, yeah,
a little bit,
a little bit more artsy.
A little bit. It's like a timepiece, but really well done. See other things. Finally watched Rocketman, which I actually quite enjoyed. Definitely better than Bohemian Rhapsody. So that's without
low bar certainly.
That's
but,
without a question.
That's fun. It's a fun movie.
Playing a lot of Animal Crossing still. It's good stuff.
Making a killing on some turnips.
Yeah, no, that was good. I bought some more turnips today, so hopefully I'll make a killing on those. And we've been watching a lot of Simpsons. It's all on Disney Plus, so we've just been going through that. I never really watched it other than like a few episodes here and there, but it holds up for sure.
Nice. How far into that are you?
We must be pretty far. We watch like a couple episodes a day, usually just kind of put it on.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like a nice, just like you put it on. You don't like if you miss a little bit, you miss some, but it's still good. And listen to a couple books, working on reading some, but slower at that. But I did listen to the Ahsoka book. It's narrated by Ashley Eckstein. So that's pretty cool because you just get Ahsoka reading Ahsoka to you. And
that's post Clone Wars, but
it's post Clone Wars, before Rebels, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It doesn't. I don't know. It's not too crazy. It gives you the story of how she got her white lightsabers, which is pretty cool. So I don't know if anyone's a fan of Clone Wars and Ahsoka and Rebels, I'd say check that one out. And now I'm working on Dune. I've actually never read or listened to that one, so might be my first go through, and definitely will have it done before the movie comes out because I don't know when the movie's coming out anymore.
Still December for now, but I just I worry.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But it's good. Yeah, still in the beginning of it, but I'll let you know as I get through it.
Cool. Yeah, I have the Ahsoka audiobook. I got it through Audible when I had my tokens a long time, and I never actually listened to it. But
who reads it?
It's Ashley Eckstein.
Oh,
the voice of Ahsoka.
The voice actress. Yeah.
So
and it's pretty
really cool.
breezy. I think it's like 7 hours. Roughly.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's a YA kind of novel. So I don't know exactly how it's written, but I think it's intended to be pretty easy to get through. But yeah, it's certainly something that like now that I'm like fully invested in this character and kind of I'm very much into Star Wars stuff right now. It feels like something that I'm gonna try to listen to pretty soon, or at least start pretty soon, and hopefully get into it. So It's a cool recommendation.
What are you guys up to?
Andrew, have you conjured a list in your head yet, or would you like me to?
Yeah, no, you go ahead.
All right. Well, you got to work on it in the meantime.
I'm working
on
on
you again. I'm going to call on you again. So, I watched the first 2 episodes of the show. What's it called? It's called Star Wars Rebels. I think. Have you guys heard of it?
No, yeah.
2 episodes? Okay, all right.
Yeah, just the first 2 episodes. A little 2-parter action.
Yeah.
Initial impressions: Ezra annoying.
Yeah,
everyone else
Ezra's
pretty
annoying
cool.
in the beginning. For
Everyone
sure.
else pretty cool. It starts with Vader talking to an Inquisitor, and I'm like, oh, this I'm liking this shit already. So I greatly enjoyed that. So I'm like I said, I'm invested in the Star Wars shit, so I'm excited to kind of keep watching. And I will check back in and finally, hopefully, catch up on Rebels.
Season 2 probably has one of my favorite Star Wars moments.
Okay,
Maybe
There's a lot of
you'll know it.
dope.
You'll know
shit.
it when you see it.
I mean, I know Andrew wants me to get to whenever Thrawn comes in because.
But yeah,
The
Thrawn
man
stuff
won't
is
shut up
amazing too.
about Thrawn, but there's some other stuff in there.
There's
I know
Thrawn, the fucking
there's things I
Bendu.
vaguely know about.
Yeah,
about the
fucking
Maul's
Bendu?
in it.
I know of the
Bendu,
Bendu,
yeah.
yes, but I don't know the full details of basically anything. So what vague details I have just make me more excited to finally, actually
Dark Saber.
consume it.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Know a little bit about the dark saber. So yes, I'm doing it. I'm taking the plunge at long last. And I have a lot of other Star Wars stuff that I've been doing too. Anna and I have been, as part of her kind of annual May rewatch of the saga, we watched The Empire Strikes Back, which just had its 40th anniversary very recently. We actually watched it, I think, a day or 2 before the anniversary itself. I feel like coincidentally, I didn't think it was that close. I didn't realize it at the time. Of course, it's an excellent film. It's in my top 5 of all time. I think Andrew's as well.
That's right.
It was great. We watched it on Disney Plus because we had been doing. We watched the theatrical DVD of A New Hope, and I think that's worth it because there's a lot of differences between the theatrical and the special, whereas Empire I think is mostly just kind of cleaned up. I think the biggest change is they changed the original appearance of the Emperor to Ian McDiarmid, redubbing the role, and it's a little jarring, but the quality's a lot better than a DVD, so it's a kind of a push and pull kind of thing. But we did watch the theatrical edition of Return of the Jedi most recently, which was an interesting experience because there are some big differences there. I think first, Jabba's palace not having that horrendous musical sequences is a huge upgrade. And secondly, Yub Nub, the whole ending is different. You got the original Sebastian Shaw Anakin, then you have the Ewok song instead of Victory Celebration. There's probably other things that I'm forgetting, but those are kind of the 2 biggest ones. So, the theatricals, I think, overall are the superior experiences. Unfortunately, there's just no good way to watch them, in any sort of good quality. It hurt my heart a little bit watching it on a like a DVD quality 4:3. But it's interesting because I don't know that I've seen any of the theatricals ever start to finish. I've seen the differences on YouTube and stuff like that, but I don't know that I don't think my family's ever owned a fucking theatrical copy of Star Wars because it's so difficult for them to come out. So, and I keep talking about how they're going to, the 50th anniversary of A New Hope will be coming up in, I think, 7 years, we determined. So hopefully Disney pulls something out of the vault by then. So I think that would be pretty cool. But I guess keeping with the Star Wars through line, been playing Fallen Order. I know Andrew talked about it with the big droid.
Where are you at?
So I did the first story. Well, I think last time we talked about it, I was on Dathomir. I got a certain upgrade on Dathomir, and that was pretty much all I could do on the planet. I went to Zepho. I did the story mission there, and then I'm about to head to Kashyyyk.
Okay.
So
you're catching up.
Not super far into it, but cool game. I think we talked about it whenever we talked about it, maybe a couple episodes ago. It's a little hard when you step away from it to get back into the combat of it because it's a little, it takes patience and it takes, a little bit of skill to kind of be super effective with it. But yeah, it's a cool game. But the interesting thing is, it takes place during the Imperial occupation of Kashyyyk, and like they kind of talk in the game about how like I don't know if we really want to go there because they're gonna have a tough time, given that you're a Jedi and whatnot. And I just finished reading Star Wars Aftermath: Life Debt, which is the second in the trilogy, and basically the big plot point of that is liberating Kashyyyk from the remnants of the Empire.
Oh, it's fucking cool.
And so it was just a really kind of neat parallel that kind of came along, and kind of experiencing both forms of the media and kind of dealing with the same planet at different points in time. Pretty good book. I enjoyed it more than the first one. It has a lot more of the main Star Wars characters you know and love. It's Han, Chewie, Leia have a lot bigger role. Luke's not in it. Wedge is in it. And it has the cast that they had introduced in the first book. So it's still written in a weird present tense style, which is jarring, but you get used to it. But it's pretty breezy. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's kind of a cool post Return of the Jedi timeline, which we've seen a little bit more now with Mandalorian and stuff. But at the time I think it came out, there wasn't really a whole lot that explored that time period between Jedi and Force Awakens. So that was cool. Reading the third one, Empire's End, only like 50 pages in, so I don't really have anything to say on it. But I'm reading. It's new for me. It's a new experience. So trying to work with it. Other than that, Animal Crossing going well. Anna's set up shop on the island. I think we talked about it probably last episode, and we're working on getting the island exactly how we like it. So it's good fun. It's entertaining. She's actually playing it right now behind me as I record.
How many stars are you at?
We have 4 stars. We have a 4-star
Nice.
island right now. So yeah.
Me too.
So she wants to. I think she's working on a flower garden. Well, not at present, but she's planning a kind of big flower garden type area. So should be pretty cool when everything's all said and done. Last but not least, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII.
Ooh, the remake one?
The remake or the...
No, I've been playing the original because I've never beaten the original. Like I don't know. I think if I played it, I was a kid and I don't really remember much of it other than Cloud and Sephiroth. Like I think I've consumed other parts of it. Like I watched Advent Children when it came out. Like I know like a lot about the lore, but I definitely never beaten the game.
What are you playing it on?
So I had it on Steam, so I've been playing it through Steam. It looks like shit. It's a game that came out, a while ago for PS1 and up-res to 4K. It looks pretty not great, but it's a little muddled looking, shall we say. But it holds up. It's pretty traditional JRPG. I did buy the remake, but then I was just like, well, let me at least cover the segment of the game that the remake covers, because the remake covers basically
the first disc.
Not even really, like it covers, I think I'm 7 hours into the original and I'm now past the point where the remake covers. So
oh wow,
yeah. So and it takes, I think the remake is a much bigger game. It basically takes the Midgar section of the game and then expands on it in a huge way, from what I understand. And people are really, really liking the remake, and I have it, and I will probably get it. I don't know if I'm going to jump in now that I've kind of surpassed where it was, or if I'll try to beat the original game and then go back and do the other one. I don't know if that'll be too much, because I think it's still a pretty long game, given it's a JRPG and all. But yeah, so it's pretty cool, for something that I
just think it's crazy that
really never experienced. But
we're at a point with technology now that video games look like Advent Children, like Final Fantasy.
It maybe even looks better, arguably.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. It's cool though, So yeah, I'm excited to go into the remake, because I've heard good things about it. So yeah, I think that does it for my list. Lots of Star Wars stuff. Like I said, I'll probably try to hop on Ahsoka. Maybe I'll have an opportunity to talk about that next episode we do, whatever that may be. So Andrew, I'm calling on you now. Anything coming to mind you've been up to?
Yeah. So I got a table saw.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty cool. Did we talk about the table saw that I got? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay, so
I'm ringing any bells anyway.
What happened was my dad gave me all this wood. He knows he says he had all this wood laying around. And he said, "Oh, here, you can have it." So he gave it to me, which is cool. But I have no saw. I have no way to cut wood. So I got on the Facebook. I was going to buy a table saw, a job site saw. Long story short, you have job site saws or table saws that are They're mobile. They weigh like 50 pounds or a couple hundred pounds. Or yeah, they're very light. You throw them on like a wheel chassis, and then you kind of use it as a table saw. And then there's cabinet saws, which are big, heavy, stationary, fucking table saws with wings, long wings, and anyways, those are much more expensive. I was looking at a DeWalt. And they're like $600, $500 or $600 for this table saw. That is actually looking at Delta. Anyways, it's like $500 or $600 for a job site table saw. I ended up going on Facebook Marketplace the night before I was going to go buy a saw, and I ended up picking up a Jet table saw. It's an $1,800 saw. You know what I got this saw for?
Damn. Couple hundred.
$300.
It was on the thing for $250. And they were going to deliver. I told them, would it be cheaper if I go get it? And they said, yes. I got it for $200. $1,800 saw for $200. I figured that if it didn't work or if there was something messed up, I made them plug it in before I bought it and made them turn it on. Sounds like a sewing machine when it turns on. Just, It's like fucking super quiet. It's cool. Got that super cheap. And then I went and got a miter saw, which is like it cuts different angles and stuff, and it's got laser beams and stuff. So, anyways, I'm in the middle of building a wood organizer because my dad gave me a shit ton of wood. So I got to build something to hold the wood in the garage.
You gotta use your wood to hold the wood.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a good use of the wood.
And then I will be building a table and a booth.
Damn.
So. Yeah, I'm going to try to get into the woodworking stuff. I find it relaxing and whatnot, as long as it's not 200 degrees in the garage, which currently it's 200 degrees in the fucking garage.
Florida.
Yeah.
Fucking Florida.
So, what else have I been doing? So, it's mostly been that woodworking stuff. Trying to get into that. Been watching a lot of videos on woodworking on YouTube and, reading on different types of wood and stuff. Just trying to bust into a new hobby a little bit. What else did I do? I've been watching shows for a certain episode or movies for a certain episode that are that we may be talking about soon.
Okay.
I'm a couple movies into that. I'll reserve titles and stuff, but I think I'm a couple in, so that's cool. What else has there been? Started a couple episodes of The Outer Banks on the Netflix. Sarah wanted to watch that. We went on vacation up to Blue Ridge, and we watched I think 3 or 4. I think we're 3 or 4 episodes in. It's kind of like I would say if CW were to make a Goonies in a teenage drama, that's what it would be. Picture an episodic. Serialized Goonies with teenagers on the CW with the love triangles.
Do you like it?
I like the Goonies aspect of it. There's a shipwreck. There's the guy has a missing father. He was looking for the shipwreck, so his son, his dad's been missing for like a year or whatever, and his son's like determined to figure out what's going on, and he believes that his dad was right, and there was a shipwreck, and they found this gold, and it's in this city that there's a big a social like wealth divide between these two classes of people, and that's like plays into it, and it's I don't know, it's kind of like CW-isms and Goonies. That's the best way I know how to put it. So it's totally okay. I think that's about it as far as content. I haven't been really watching or playing anything. I play
Just work on that wood.
I play Star Wars every chance I try to get. So I've beat Kashyyyk and then I've returned to Kashyyyk. So I'm slightly further than you, but not terribly far. Not terribly further, I should say.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of Kashyyyk right now.
Oh, you're playing it too?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Actually, I really like it. It was the first time I ever saw my PS4 overheat. 'Cause I had it in like a closed off like section of my entertainment center.
Yeah.
And it just like turned off, and it's like the PS4 is too hot now. It needs to like take a break.
Damn.
And it was hot. But it's cool. I wish there wasn't as much backtracking. But aside from that,
I was surprised at how open the game was. Like, I definitely thought it was going to be a pretty linear.
Like, sometimes it takes me a while just to get back to the ship, and I'm just like, I haven't played this in a couple weeks. Like, I don't remember where I went. I'm just retracing my steps. But the battles and the cinematic parts are really awesome.
I mean, I appreciate what they did. I mean, they're kind of making like an open world Metroidvania kind of thing, aren't they?
Yeah, that stuff. It's like a 3D Metroidvania type design, but which I think is cool. I just didn't realize it was going to be like that when I kind of came into it. But I'm enjoying it.
That's great if you sit down and you fucking grind this thing out over the course of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
there's a lot of collectibles in it, and like you could. I don't know how I don't know how long the game is if you just pretty much just go point to point in the way that it kind of points you. But it's a game that obviously wants you to explore, secrets and treasure chests and blah blah blah. So,
and that's cool.
I don't know.
I thoroughly enjoy it.
You kind of play it the way you want it to, so which is kind of nice. There's a little bit of variety offered in it, which you can't really, I guess, complain about that. But yeah, it's definitely not the linear storytelling experience I thought it was going to be walking in. But is good in some aspects and
it's just challenging. I mean, the biggest criticism all three of us have, it's worth noting. The biggest criticism that all three of us have is we don't sit down and we don't play the same video game or whatever within 1 week. We're not beating it within 1 or 2 weeks. We're having to play it over the course of months or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just
it's tough to just recalibrate and jump right back in. Like, you really got to lock in to get the feel for it. Yeah. I get that.
I mean, is that a criticism? I mean, is it though? I don't know. I don't know if it's valid, but that's my opinion of it, anyways. No, man. I think it's probably about. I think that's about it for me.
I think we've been going for some time now, so probably time to wrap it up. I think so. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. Patreon. We are finally going to be putting a bonus episode up on Patreon sometime in June. I'm going to say early June tentatively. I think we can realize that goal. I think we talked about it on the Westworld episode, but we're going to be doing an episode centered around movies that basically revolve around viruses being part of their plot. I think there's going to be a pretty good range of how that actually plays out. We have a list hammered down. I think we're all still working through the list, and we haven't announced what the episode's going to be, but it's going to be 6 movies is our plan right now. And maybe we'll announce it ahead of time, but for now, we can safely say that, hey, we're working on it. Something's coming out. So Patreon, for those of you who are not aware, it's just basically a platform to help us recoup a few bucks for our costs for hosting the show and putting it out for everyone. So we try to offer some sort of reward for anyone that wants a little bit of extra content from Watch Review Repeat. So $2 a month gets you access to any and all bonus episodes that we do, like the one we're talking about now. We've done quite a few in the past. We've been slacking lately, but there's a certain virus that's kicking everyone's ass. So our lives have been a little bit different than we certainly expected 2020 to be. So we also offer early access to all of our regular episodes. So that's anything that interests you. Just head to patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. What else we got? Our website is watchreviewrepeat.com. If you want to follow us on Twitter, that'll be a good way to find out when that bonus episode will be available through Patreon. We are at WRRPod. We are also on Facebook. If you just search for Watch Review Repeat there. Questions, comments, and suggestions are, you can send those our way, watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. If you want to be the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th Tiger King recommenders, then have at it. Intro and outro track is Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. Big thank you to Jedi Master Henrique Jaime for joining us on this episode, and perhaps it's safe to say that Dr. Henrique Jaime will be joining us very shortly for another episode we might have just talked about, or at least teed up anyway. So thank you for hanging out with us, talking some Clone Wars. We always appreciate having you on. Unfortunately, Black Widow did not make it out in May, so we almost certainly would have had you on for that, but maybe, knock on wood, knock on all the wood that Andrew has in his garage or wherever he's keeping it.
Knock, it's all wood.
Come November, maybe we'll have time for a little Black Widow coverage, and we can have you on for that too. And maybe we'll see you before that. Who's to say? I mean, it's 2020. Everything's topsy-turvy. We really have no fucking clue, so we're just winging it. But thank you. Our next episode, I'm not sure what we're doing. I think we talked about maybe doing The Lovebirds, which is now out on Netflix. Not sure if anyone's had a chance to check it out yet, but that's something we can do. Other than that, I'm all ears. So look forward to that Patreon episode certainly in the near future. Other than that, we will catch you guys some other time. So I think that's it, guys. Andrew, do you have anything to say? Henry, do you have anything to say?
Nah, thanks for having me again, and looking forward to the next one.
Cool. Andrew, I know you have something to say.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Laters on the Menjay.